Hello everyone, my name is Nisha. I'm a full stack developer with a background in business and data science. I have recently finished a certification in web development from Seneca through Access Employment Services. I have also recently completed a data science certification from University of Toronto. My key web development skills are HTML, CSS, PHP, JavaScript, Angular, WordPress, and Python. My data science skills are Python-based libraries like Pandas, NumPy, and visualization skills like Matplotlib, Plotly, and machine learning skills like TensorFlow and Scikit-learn. Over the next few minutes, I would like to take you through my projects I completed as part of the web development course. So here are my projects from left to right in a chronological order. The first project was a social networking app for the Women in Technology team. The focus here is on HTML and CSS, which were the first few skills that we learned as part of this course. Second is a quiz app where I used JavaScript for the dynamic display of questions and answers, and also the scoring for the answers. And for the answer display, I used jQuery library. The next project was a WordPress website, and for this I chose to do a news aggregator website. To get the data from various news sites dynamically on a real-time basis, I used a plugin called WP Pipes and RSS feeds of the news websites. Along with that, I also did an FAQ web app with MySQL and PHP. The FAQ questions were gathered from the WHO website on COVID-19. The next project was a movie review app using Angular framework. The focus was to create two separate views, a login and a movie display view, and the appropriate use of components like header, footer, navigation, login, and movie display. For this, I utilized TypeScript interfacing and HTTP request to get the JSON file into the required format. My final project was a Python web scraping app, and I chose my domain to be the stock market. In order to aggregate the data, I used two methods. I used Python Beautiful Soup to scrape the data, and I also used an API called AlphaVantage to get the historical data. For the analysis part, I used Pandas data frames, JavaScript, Google visualizations, and data table. Now it's a demo time. Let me walk you through some of my projects.
The first project that I would like to show you is a news aggregator website similar to Google News. My primary goal was to have dynamic content with up-to-date news articles. Second, I wanted to enable additional features like subscription to newsletters and weather widgets. For this, I used WordPress and a number of plugins to customize it. I have used RSS feeds from news websites and converted that into news articles with text and images. For this, I used a plugin called WP Pipes, where you can input news RSS feeds and then customize the output so that you get images, text, and content separately. See the latest news and the date. This is the name I have given the website, and on the menu bar I have all the category of news articles. When you click on one category, you can go into one particular category. You have all the news articles listed here, and then when you go into one particular news, it shows you the entire news article. There is a search area where I can enter a word and it brings up all the articles that contains that particular word. And I have also added a weather widget, which is customized to Toronto area. And below that, I have recent posts and recent comments. There's a secondary menu which shows different pages. So the About page is just about the website. It's just plain text, and there is a contact us page, which is contact form, a subscribe page where you can enter your email and then subscribe to newsletter. And there is also a COVID Help Center where I have linked the John Hopkins ArcGIS map, and also a link to another project that I have done, which is an FAQ project on COVID-19. All of the data is taken from WHO website, and the data is stored in a MySQL database. The FAQ questions are grouped into 3 categories. You can go into details by clicking More button, and then it shows you all the questions that belong to that particular category. It also enables you to search for a particular word or a part of a word, like for example virus, and then you search, and it brings up all the questions that contain the word virus. Coming back to the news website, I have added social media buttons here, which are linked to the CBC News website social media page. And with that, let's move on to the next website. Now, let's move on to my next project, which is a movie review app, which is built using Angular Framework. The project requirement was to create a single-page web app where you have a login view as well as a movie display page. The content was already provided. The content was in the form of a JSON file, and the focus here is on the design and effective use of components like header, footer, navigation bar, movie display, and login view. The overall look is inspired by a cinema hall with a dark theme, and I have used Bootstrap to achieve this look. The JSON file provided had 12 movies and their details like the name, rating, award, genre, cast, and the plot summary. You can view the content with the help of the scroll feature.
This takes me to my most recent project, which is a Python web scraping project. The domain I chose to work with was the Toronto Stock Exchange. 2 reasons why I chose this website. One, I wanted to derive some useful insight from the data that I scrape, and also I wanted to look at the impact of the COVID-19 situation on the Canadian stock market, and in particular Toronto Stock Exchange. I scraped the data from TMX Money website. In this project, I'm focused on the TSX 60 index. So here is a sector-wise breakup of all the 60 companies registered in this index. As you can see, a major chunk of this belongs to the finance industry, followed by the energy sector. Tech industry is only 7.2%. So this button here gives you access to more detailed view of the TSX index and its performance. When I click the button, the program scrapes the data and generates the graph in the background dynamically. Here we have 2 different visualizations. The one on the left is the top 3 companies in terms of market cap. We have Shopify, RBC, and TD. And on the right side, you have the TSX 60 index since the beginning of this year. So its performance is depicted here. Another feature that I've built into this project is the comparison of stocks. We can compare 3 stocks based on their most important features that one would want to consider when deciding to make a purchase. So I'm choosing 3 random stocks here. And you can see a side-by-side comparison of the 3 stocks. Some of the most important attributes are listed here. The final feature that I've built into this app is search for an individual stock. You can enter the company name. It doesn't have to be the full name. You can even enter a part of the name, and the program searches for the name on the list of names that I scraped, and it does a matching. Using that name that I entered, it extracts the ticker and adds it to the URL so that it can go into that particular page and extract the data. So the resulting data shows the highest and lowest price for the day and the percentage change. The negative or positive change is depicted through a red or green arrow. So coming back to the technicality of the web app, since this is a stock market, data needs to be real time. So for this project, I gathered the data in two different ways. For the comparison parameters and the basic high, low price and the percentage change, I scraped the data from each stock's page. So here I'm doing a multi-page web scraping, which is also dynamic. For the performance data, which is the line graph that you see here, I used an API called AlphaVantage, which returned data in a JSON format. This was then transformed into Pandas data frame for data manipulation in order to be fed into the JavaScript function which draws the graph. I'm currently working towards adding more features to this app, including a machine learning algorithm that makes stock price predictions. I would like to use Flask framework for this purpose. I would also like to incorporate a feature where the user will be able to select certain parameters and then the program will recommend a suitable investment plan. The future plans are to develop the stock market app and publish it. For this, I would like to add a machine learning algorithm for price prediction and also add a feature where, based on user input, the program can recommend suitable investment plans. Also, I would like to utilize Flask framework for this. Thank you so much for your time and support. You have a wonderful day.